So what's going on guys, Kades here and welcome back to a brand new video. For today I will show you a quick building tutorial on what is the best way to build every single structure in Sons of the Forest. So we will build everything from houses to defense walls, then I will even show you how can you make buildings that won't get destroyed in a single hit from the enemies and much more. So if you're confused about the new building system or you just want to see what is the fastest and easiest way to build, then this is the video for you. So with that said, let's get right into it. So then first of all, let's take a look at how the basic building works. So if we press our B key, then it will open the crafting book, which will explain us the basic stuff and give us some blueprints. I personally only recommend to use the blueprints if you don't care about building a big and custom house, but instead if you just want a small place that you can make your home. So if that is you, then just click on the blueprint, then place it where you want to, and then just gather some wooden logs and fill it in the base. But then on the other hand, if you want to build a custom base like me, then we need to completely forget about the crafting book, and we just need to think and imagine how our primal ancestors would build things. So for example, let's start at the first step. So first of all, we need to find a flat ground with no rocks. As you can see, my base is on a flat ground, and my location is almost 100% perfect, because I found this empty spot with bunch of trees around it. So not only I have a lot of space to build stuff, but I didn't have to chop thousands of trees to just start building. So remember, number one step is to find a flat ground with a lot of trees around, because we will not want to go hundreds of meters back and forwards just to build a base. So what you want to do is just look for remote locations like this one, but that won't block our foundation at the same time. So then the number two step is to start gathering wood, and then place them by left clicking on the ground. This building system is basically a simplified version of the forest one, where instead of blueprints, we need to imagine those blueprints in our head and then place materials accordingly. So for us to get a floor, we need to place 4 logs in the square formation, and then with 2 or 3 more logs, we need to fill it up with half logs, and the game will automatically chop the logs in half. Then afterwards, no matter how big or small base you want, you build all the floor foundations that you want. If you take a look at my base, then we are on a small hill. So if you are in a similar spot, then we still keep on making squares with 4 logs. But then when we look down, we can see the arrow like going from bottom to the top. So then we place the log, and the game will automatically chop the log into small pieces that will exactly match the rest of your squares like this. And it will work the same way if you want to build stairs like this. So on this square, on both ends we place 2 logs, and then we fill in with half logs. Okay, so far so good. Now the platform and a staircase is done. Then now we want to build a second layer of the foundation that will support our walls and roof. So again, we want to make a square. Just instead of horizontally, we will do it vertically. So in every square, we place these logs upright, and then outside of your base, we fill in the walls. And of course, as you probably know, then you can carve windows as well by holding your axe and then chopping out these little squares. And a word of caution, as you ever won't find a completely flat ground, so sometimes your build may get stuck where the logs will be hard to place. So for the logs that are hard to reach, I usually just jump, and after a second or two, the logs get filled in. And then lastly, if you ever find yourself stuck, then at any time hold the C key on the logs and you can easily rearrange them and replace. And then lastly is the roof, and this will work the same way as the rest of the building, but instead of a square, we want to build a triangle. So then we again move our mouse to the side of the log, and when these arrows come up, we click on them, and then from here we just keep on building foundations like this. Then we fill them up with half logs, and then lastly, to make the house look better, we just remove these bottom triangles, and that's it. As I said previously, you can build as small or big house as you want, and if you ever played other games, then this building structure should be self-explanatory. So then second of all, let's take a look at how we can build walls. And again, this is super simple. We just take logs and this time place them vertically, and we need to do this one by one. And of course, you could technically build walls in the same way like your base walls, but to be honest, I don't think that they will look that good. So I would recommend to stick with placing them vertically. And then lastly, if you choose the vertical approach, then we will be able to curve these spikes by just holding down your axe at the top of the tree and hitting it once. If sometimes the wall is too tall and if the jumping doesn't work, then we can simply take the wooden wall and cut it in 3 pieces. And when you point an axe at a log, you can see these red lines. So then if you hit them, then you can split this wood into 3 smaller pieces. So then afterwards, just place any of these smaller blocks close to the wall, and this will elevate your character. So now you can reach the top of your wall. Okay, so now you know how to build any type of custom structure. So then the last thing we need to discuss is efficiency. In my building experience, I found that Kelvin is a great help. So you want to order him to gather logs for you, and then make him place the logs in the location that you're building the base on. As well, I noticed that Kelvin can chop trees at the same speed as we can, but he can carry only one wooden log, so that's why for the best efficiency, I would recommend to always carry logs and let Kelvin chop down the trees. I saw that some other players were chopping trees while Kelvin was only transporting, and that is definitely not the way to go. So if you see a free log on the ground, then move it back to the base and only chop the trees if you can't find any other logs on the ground. And I personally see that Kevin does his work for a bit, then he goes away and then he comes back again. So I'm not 100% sure how the Kevin system works and if he can get too tired, but if you see him nearby, then always order him to bring you more logs. Then as well, speaking about efficiency, while we are building, bunch of enemies will start coming, so until they attack you first, leave them alone and keep building. But then when they come and start attacking you, then attack them back and keep on building. For efficiency purpose, I don't recommend to burn their bodies. Or when you're carving your windows and other structures, some small wood logs will be on the ground, and you actually don't have to destroy them, because the game will despawn the dead bodies and logs. So if you ever need to clean up things, then just go to sleep. And then lastly, this is your personal preference, but when you're done building, I would recommend to destroy these 3 leftovers, but they won't give you any resources in the return, so only do it when you have finished your base. And then lastly, we have an option to make a cave base as well. A lot of players don't know this, but once you go into the caves, perhaps you can put some lights down and kill every single cannibal. Well, if you do that, then the cave is now completely secure, and the cannibals don't respawn, and they can't enter through the cave entrance as well. So after clearing a cave, it becomes one of the safest places in the game. So my point is that you could perhaps build a bed in here and just make this into a nice cozy little safe spot. You don't have to build a big base, you can just go ahead and place some essential stuff to get you going. So if you ever get a massive attack outside of your main base, then you can just flee into one of these caves and sleep it off, and that's about it. So with that said, I really do appreciate everyone for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions, feedback, or other good Sons of the Forest guides that you would like to see in the next video, then feel free to leave your comments in the comment section down below. And while you're doing that, please click like, subscribe, and enable that notification bell, so this way you could support the channel and you won't miss any more amazing content from me. With all this said, you have an amazing day and I will see you in my next video. So take it easy, peace.